Hello, my name is Paul Godinez. I'm with Logics Magazine. And today we're going to try to answer if now is a good time for you to pivot your career. All right? So there's a lot of things to consider. We're going to I'm going to do my best to walk you through this step by step. All right? Okay, so what we want to do is we're going to go to our PowerPoint. And we're going to start with the triangle. And what are we going to do? We're going to try and describe where you're at in your career. All right? There's generally 4 levels as to where you're at. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and identify what those 4 levels are. All right, so first level we have is bleeding. I learned this framework here from a business coach, but I think it was just perfect. So I'm going to borrow that from Taki Moore. Did a great job, but it just was perfect here. So bleeding, slipping, the next one is stable, and that's followed by leading. Now, you're going to be in one of these 4 categories, one of these 4 areas of the triangle currently in your career. Okay. Now, obviously, this may be a temporary status, but needless to say, you're going to be here. If you're bleeding, you see your job it's gone. It's not going to get replaced. You are not going to be able to go back. You are in a destroyed situation. You are literally bleeding. Then that's where you're at. The biggest point about talking about this is to know where you're at. Now, for some people, they know where they're at. They feel it. They understand it. It's real to them. Okay? So, just bear with me here. The next one up is you're slipping. Maybe it's a temporary slip. Maybe you see it or sense that, this is things slipping away from me. I may or may not be able to recover. Maybe you've had the thoughts, maybe I don't want it to recover because I see how things went, or I have wanted a change for quite some time, but this situation is just slipping away from me, and either I can't or I don't want to recover it. All right? At least you know where you're at. Stable. It's stable. Maybe you've got laid off or furloughed, but you're going to go right back. You've got the income. You've got enough money to get you through. It's a very stable situation, and that's fine for you. Okay? Maybe you want to make a change, maybe you don't, but you're stable. All right. The 4th, the highest level, is you're leading. You are in a unique, opportune situation. You're going to be able to take advantage of this. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. That's where you're at. Okay. So when we think about today and now is the time to pivot, these are the questions. This is the status. Where are you at? This is the pyramid here, the triangle that helps you understand where you're at. And obviously, if you're at the bleeding stage, you want to move into the leading stage. And we can talk about that, right? Okay, so now we know where we're at. Where do we want to go? So we're gonna talk about the pivot, right? Now let's say you're in the bleeding or the slipping or even in the stable, but you really want to make this pivot in your career. All right, so we want to ask ourselves and think about this situation very carefully, right? So let's insert. So what do we need in order to make a pivot, right? We need the right skill set, period. And it don't matter if that skill set is you're great great on the phone, you're great with programming, great designer, great sales guy, great project manager. It makes no difference. You need that skill set. You may and or may not have it. All right. So the next thing what we need is we need We need a portfolio. We need some sort of evidence that we can do the job. Now, if you're pivoting into a new career, you can still, you really still need a portfolio. That just means you have to build one, right? Okay, so the next thing that we need here is, obviously, we need some offers, all right? So if we had the right skill set, we had a decent portfolio, and we could get the right offers, hey, you know, who wouldn't make that pivot? In order to make a successful pivot, these are the three factors that need to come into play. You need to have the right skill set. To be able to demonstrate competence, high level competence, you need a decent portfolio, and then of course you use that portfolio to leverage and receive lots of offers, so you can whittle it down to the offer that is best for you, right? So this is the three components that we need to make a successful career pivot. Very simple, right? All right. So what's our challenges, though? I mean, in order to make this happen, we're having, especially nowadays, we find that a lot of businesses are closed. They are just not open for business right now. The governor's got them down. The president's got it closed, etc. So what's happening, even if you do have your portfolio, it's getting ignored, right? You're just not happy here, right? Bam, it's getting ignored, right? So let's move this on the inside here, right? And our offers over here. Boom. So what do we need, right? We got our portfolio, we got our offers, right? So if we turn that way, we can move this over. So essentially this is the three components that we need. And if we don't have them, then what's going to happen is we're not going to be able to successfully make a pivot. Now, to some of you, none of this is new, right? But it's important to put some structure to what you're experiencing. Let's put some visualization to it. All right? Very important to visualize the challenges that you have. At least for me, I need to have it. I need to see it. So businesses are closed. My portfolio is being ignored. Even if I have one, it's being ignored, right? So then we also, one of our even if they're not closed, even if they can see your portfolio, you have to deal with objections. The objections about hiring right now in today's climate, today's coronavirus experience, event that we're all experiencing. You got to deal with those objections, right? It doesn't matter if everything's still in you. You have the skill set. It's not closed. You have a portfolio. It's not being ignored. You get some offers to talk to people. You know, you have some potential. You're still going to have a lot of the objections to hiring right now, even if you find somebody to talk to, right? Maybe you don't have an offer, but you find some people to talk to about some job opportunities. They're going to be really hesitant to hire right now. So this is our triangle, right? Our pivot triangle. So what do we need? What do we need in order to make this pivot, to deal with this situation, to know that this is the right time or not to make a pivot, right? So we need something else, right? All right. So what do we need to do? All right. So let's look at this very quickly. Right here, if there's a skill set and everything and the businesses are closed, then we have to look at that skill set and say, what can I do here? How can I influence this? Right? Essentially, you have two options, right? Fix it and or change it, right? That's it. That's your options. You really have no other option. You could do nothing. I mean, that is an option. You can fix that skill set or you can change it. You can upgrade that. You can add to your skill set, right? That's what you can do. That's your options. If you don't have the right skill set or the skill set's not solid enough and it needs to be solid, you need to fix it or you need to change it. Okay? Add to it. Very simple. Okay? You can change it. You can add to it. All right? Okay. So if you don't, let's look at the portfolio. So you decide to add a skill set or you fix that. Okay? That's step one. That tells you in your mind right now what the answer is in this particular step in deciding whether now is a good time to make a pivot. I cannot answer this for you. You have to answer it for yourself. As with all of these points that I'm making, right? All right. So what do we want, right? So let's assume that we have our portfolio and it's not being ignored, right? Well, we assume that we know we need a portfolio, and by chance, just by chance, some people, places aren't closed, right? You have the skill set, you fixed it, you added to it, you changed it. Then what needs to happen? You either need to build one, or you need to get better at sharing that, right? That's going to be the most important thing that needs to happen right here. You need to build it and find better ways to share it. All right, so let's go back here. We need the right skill set. If the business is not closed and you've either fixed and added or changed your skill set, that's great. Now you come over to portfolio, and if it's not being ignored, then you need, if you have one, if you even have one, we know we need one, and we know that it won't be ignored because they're not closed. So then what we got to do is we got to build one if we don't have one, and or get better at sharing it. Does that make sense? I hope it does. All right. So now, even if all that works in our favor, we don't have an offer. We still have to deal with the objections. So we need to be able to have all the answers to the hard questions. And if you don't, you need to write down what those hard questions are. You need that list. And you become familiar with what those hard questions are and be able to have good, solid answers, right? In order to get that offer, right? So now what you need to do is think. You need to think. Let's get another box in here. Obviously, you got two options here. You're going to kind of be on a life raft, right? And for lack of a better way of describing this, or you can take this opportunity to upscale. So let me explain. Okay, so in a life raft situation, you're going to accept any stinking thing that floats by that you can grab hold of in order to stay afloat, right? That's a life raft type of situation. You're hoping to stay afloat. Now, if you have the skill set and they're not closed and you fixed and or changed that skill set or added to it, right? You've built a portfolio. You've gotten better at ignoring it. It's not being ignored. So you're better at sharing it. It's not being ignored. So you're solid there. You know you want some offers. You've got the right answers to all the hard questions. So you're going to be able to handle the objections, right? So in this in order to finalize this and get those offers, where are you at in the life raft or upscale? Can you survive the interviews? Can you survive them? Do you have the hard answers? You're ready to position yourself to stay where you're at, to move forward, to change career opportunities. You need to be able to successfully survive. And if that's all you're looking for is to just survive, obviously your offers are going to be much more limited, right? So let's assume you stay. Let me explain this a little bit better. Let's assume you stay in the same skill set. You've added a portfolio, right? You built it, you're sharing it. But your life raft is to stay where you're at. Because remember, if you're in a stable position, you may choose to just, hey, I just want to stay afloat. I don't want to go down. I'm not pushing myself to go up. I just want to stay afloat. All right. You have that option, right? I misspelled that word, didn't I? Life raft, right? You want to, you just want to stay alive, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not judging you, right? You just want to stay alive. It's a life raft, and I'm just going to stay alive. I'm going to survive this. I'm going to endure this coronavirus, this challenge, this experience, this event that the world is experiencing, that we're all sharing with today. Hey, life raft's not the worst thing in the world for you. But then there are those who say, I want to upscale. I have this skill set. Remember, we built that skill set. We built that portfolio. We've gotten really good at sharing it. We can answer all of the objections, all the hard questions that will be asked of us during our interview. And I want to upscale. I want to shoot up, and I want to get better pay, better job offers, etc., etc., etc. All right. So this figure, this diagram, to me helps you answer the question: is now a good time to pivot your career? Now, I can't answer that for you. You have to answer that for yourself. But I can tell you this much. If you walk through this diagram, and you say, hey, is now the time to pivot? And you can answer these questions, and you can answer through each step, each of these options and choices, then that you're going to be able to answer that all on your own. Okay? Now, the one thing that's not here is, can you do it on your own? And if you can't, then that's where you're going to need to get somebody to help you. Okay? You can get a career coach, you can get a friend, you can get somebody to help write resumes, you can do it yourself. There's a lot of options, right? I have a program that can help you. If you need help, that's great. Reach out to me at Logics Magazine. Just go to the top. You'll see a tab for coaching. Send me an email. That's very simple, and I can help you. Look, I want you to be successful, so I'm going to just help you. I'm going to do the best I can. If you want some one-on-one attention, that's going to take some of my time. Therefore, we'll get you into a program that's best suited for you. But in the meantime, if you just got a question or something, shoot it to me. I'd love to help you answer. This is not really hard to make that decision, right? And it's not really hard to do any of this here specifically. It's often really hard to do it by yourself, right? Because you got to be accountable to yourself, right? You got to not only make sure that you get taught the right stuff, that you can answer all the questions that need to be answered through this process, and that you hold yourself accountable. Very important. Don't decide. Look, everybody makes a New Year's resolution and then they don't keep them. We're all guilty of that to some degree, myself included. This is a life-changing event to potentially consider changing and pivoting your career, right? It's very important. If you decide to make a career jump into tech or engineering, it's a very important decision, and it needs to be well thought out. I've tried to simplify and help you answer the question, is now the right time for me to pivot? Where are you at? Ask yourself that. Am I bleeding? Am I slipping? Am I stable? Am I leading? Stable, believe it or not, can still be in the life raft. I just don't want to drown. I'm not necessarily making the money I want. I'm not necessarily doing the job that I want, but I'm not drowning. I'm paying my bills. I got a job. It's not closed, right? I'm not, my work, my effort isn't necessarily being ignored, right? I can do the job. I could change companies and still do the same job. I'm stable, right? Or you're leading. Or maybe you want to, what are we talking about? You want to upscale. You want to move from slipping, bleeding or slip into stable and or leading, right? So I've told you what that's going to take to get those golden offers, right? We need the right skill set. We need to build a portfolio, and know how to share it successfully so that we can attract recruiters, HR managers, decision makers. And we don't want to do that by sitting and filling out 100,000 different online applications, right? There's better ways, right? Then you have to decide, do I want to just stay afloat or do I want to upscale, right? Those are decisions only you can make. I'm here to share with you that this is a process that can help you make those decisions. All right. So this is Paul Godinez with Logics Magazine. And again, if you have any questions, shoot me an email. Love to help you figure it out. If any of this has been helpful, hit the bell, ding. Well, it'll let you know when we put out new videos. All right. So until next time, stay safe and take consideration of what we talked about today and answer these questions. All right. Talk to you soon.